Hello everyone, welcome back to the White One Auto YouTube channel, and we're going to talk about the correct way to fill your coolant system. So we have an LS engine on our engine stand, and we were about to fill the coolant system, and we were going to do something that we normally do, but I thought we should take the time to walk you through as to why we do it. So what you have here is you have your radiator, which is this big thing up front right here, and then you have your engine. So you can notice that our radiator in this setup sits maybe 2 or 3 inches lower than the highest point of our cooling system. On this one, this is the highest point of our cooling system. It's a steam port right there. So coolant flows through there and returns back to the radiator. So if you just normally try to fill this cooling system in the normal manner, gravity will not work for you because the radiator sits lower. So what we do is we use a vacuum filler. Specifically, the one that we use is made by a company called Airlift. I think this is, I'm not sure what the part number is, but this is what it looks like. So what we do is we remove our radiator cap. Then there are grommets that fit in there. It comes with a few different ones. So it'll come with, this is the vacuum filler. These are your 2 hoses. And then it has several grommets. It has a cone one in case you are not able to get it squarely in there. But this is the one that'll work for us. So you sit this inside our radiator. So then once we have our grommet in there, we take our vacuum filler with our gauge, then make sure this is screwed all the way up. We place it in there, then we screw this down until it gets tight. So it sits like so. And then you gotta get a bucket. You get this hose. This is the adapter that removes the air. So it plugs in here, have your valve off, and then you hook your air hose up there. And then while it's doing that, you can watch your gauge, which is right there. And you will watch this needle go from red to green, and that's your vacuum increasing. So let's go ahead and do this now. So we open our valve. You can see our gauge is decreasing, is increasing in vacuum. So this normally takes about a minute or so to do. And this will also help to determine if you have any leaks, because if there are leaks or missing gaskets, it will not pull down a vacuum. So it's pulling down pretty fast, so we probably don't have any leaks. But once it finishes pulling down, we'll shut it off and see if it'll hold for a decent amount of time, and then we'll start filling it. So this thing is pulled down pretty good. So we close our valve, remove our air supply, and we don't bump the camera. Then we pull this off. And we'll let that sit like that. And then we will mix our coolant. But one thing I want to show you is that you can see how this hose is fully collapsed there. That's because the cooling system is now under vacuum. So once we start filling it, we'll show you how this thing puffs back up. So we are ready to start filling. We have our coolant bucket. We've taken it and we have it a little bit higher than our radiator sitting on a stand. And trying to get it to where you can see our gauge is still green and our coolant hose. So you want to take your hose and submerge it fully in your bucket of coolant or bottle of coolant. You want to have more coolant than you believe you should need. Then you make that connection. And when this thing starts to pull a vacuum, it will make this hose move. So you want to hold it and make sure that it stays under the coolant level. So we open this valve and then open that, and you'll see coolant start to rush in. Now it's pulling our coolant mixture in. So you're watching our gauge decrease in vacuum, and our hose up here is gonna be starting to fill out to its normal shape as the vacuum goes away. And this will ensure that we filled our cooling system and we don't have any air pockets. And it also allowed us to check before we add coolant to it to see if there are any leaks. Because me personally, I don't like the feel of coolant on my hands. So I prefer to do this a lot more because I can check and see if we got a leak. If we got a leak, we figure out where it is, we fix that, we come and check again. Seems to be holding the vacuum for about a minute. I normally let it hold above 25 inches of vacuum for a minute to, we will say 2 minutes. If it holds 25 inches or above of vacuum for 2 minutes, then I feel comfortable adding coolant to it then. So we actually ran out of coolant because we didn't have enough. And that is not a good thing because we just sucked some air in. So what we will do is get some more coolant. While we were talking, we should have been paying attention to our level. So I'm gonna get some more coolant. So keep an eye on that hose. You can see it's starting to fill back out. And our gauge is dropped all the way down to 0. So we'll shut these valves off. Actually remove this. And you'll see that our radiator there, let me remove you guys. So our radiator there is filled to the top. So now we have coolant every place it should be, and we are safe to start this thing up, and we're not worried about doing a complicated bleeding process to make sure we don't have any air pockets. So remember to continue to like and subscribe, and thank you guys. White One Auto, out.